And good afternoon, everybody, and welcome into another edition of the Hockey Night on Broad Flyers pregame show. Today in matinee action, the Philadelphia Flyers are back home after a 2-week hiatus as they were off for the Four Nations Faceoff as they battle the Edmonton Oilers as they meet up for the second and final time this season. And a pleasant good afternoon, everybody. I'm your host, James Scorza, here with you for the next 15 minutes or so. As for the Flyers, looking to try to get off on the high note for the guys in orange and black the last couple games, obviously, after a very good way to end the 2-week hiatus. Actually, the night before Super Bowl 59 was the last time the Flyers took on opponent, and that was a battle of Pennsylvania against the Pittsburgh Penguins. And also, 24 hours later, right after the Flyers were on their hiatus of 2 weeks due to that Four Nations face-off, and you can see on the banner right here, there was a lot of positivity to come out of it, actually. There was a lot of good things to come out of it, too. Obviously, Eagles winning the Super Bowl on that Sunday afternoon against the Kansas City Chiefs, and also a parade down Broad Street. And now back to business, as always, coming up here today for the Flyers and Edmonton. So it's been a while since I talked to you guys. Hopefully you guys are doing all well. Hopefully you guys are staying safe. Hopefully everybody is staying very warm during these cold temperatures that has been going through the tri-state area with some cold temperatures in the area. But let's get into, I would say, recap of the previous game, but let's go into what happened on the very 2 weeks of the games that happened on the very important issues that happened in the NHL's sake. Well, the good news is that the NHL got a lot of positivity out of it in the recap of the previous matchups was in the Four Nations face-off between the United States, Sweden, Finland, and Canada. And for the good thing about it, too, is that they were getting a very, very good response. There was a lot of good people. There was a lot of good positivity to take out of it. And believe it or not, I got to say right now, it was probably one of the best hockey I've watched in a very, very long time. Usually, I would say there was a couple Flyers here and there that were on those Four Nation teams. Travis Konecny did not play to a couple games, but due to a healthy scratch, but then got himself a gold medal out of it. And if you didn't see the celebration, it was Brad Marchand giving Travis Konecny a little bit of a piggyback ride to give him his gold, giving his medal for that Four Nations trophy. Travis Sanheim looked like he did very well for the Flyers as well. I don't think Rasmus Ristolainen played in that. I think he's still nursing that injury, so I think he'll be back today for the Flyers. I do not know if there was anybody. Well, actually, no, there was a Sweden player, believe it or not, too. It was the Flyers goaltender Sam Ersson, who played well for them. He played very well for Sweden. I do not recall any United States players playing for Team USA, but that's all well and good, though. But overall, it was a great. It was a great 2 weeks for the NHL to look at this and see that what they were trying to do with the All-Star game. Obviously, the last couple of years or so, it was a 3-on-3 tournament, trying to do like a round robin between Pacific, Central, like I said, the Metropolitan and also the Atlantic Division. So it was a round robin of two of the best teams in both Eastern and Western Conference. It was good for a while. It was good for probably a couple years, but then it started to fade a little bit, and they try to think of something different like they do right now with the Four Nations face-off, and it actually made a lot of noise. I mean, you think about what happened with the Four Nations. PK Subban talked about it earlier in the week about how great the state of hockey is nowadays due to what happened to the Four Nations face-off. And you see that, I wouldn't say players were jealous, but when they were playing in the game, they wish they would have had that same level of tenacity that they had back when they were playing. But it looked to me, PK Subban nailed this on the head earlier in the week about it, saying that that the NHL probably made a lot of good viewers about it, that regardless of what state you like represented or what the situation occurred, the good thing about it too was that it got a very good, very not a good response, but a very very good response. And this could be something they'll probably take out of into the next couple years, because next year it will be. I would not be sure they will have a Four Nations face-off due to the Olympics in 2026, but they'll be back at it again in 2027. I would hope to see the Flyers will be hosting one of those. I mean, like I said, I was there in 2014 when the Flyers, at the time, it was a Flyer by the name of Shane Gostisbehere, and that was actually similar to like the round robin that they had in the Frozen Four in April of 2020, not 2024, 2014 rather. And that was a good that was a very good excitement brewing right there for. I mean, obviously, I think if the Flyers are relevant again, they'll probably try to make it was kind of like a World Cup of hockey a little bit. Gonna admit, I think it was one of the reasons why that the NHL made it into something, and I think it probably did. I think it did a very. I think it was very well. I think it was very very well. I wouldn't say scripted, but very well put together by Gary Bettman. So, I mean, the last thing I'll say about this too is that if they bring this back in 2027, I mean, you're going to get a lot of good viewers, and the two regionals and the two of the best cities in the country that have great hockey fans in both Montreal and Boston. I got to tell you right now, it was really good to see a really good effort by all four teams, and they played. They didn't play like it was an all-star game. Like they actually played it. It was like an actual hockey game, and it got a very good response out of it too. All right, let's get into our key matchups of the game, because I could talk about that Four Nations thing all day, but it was very good to see Four Nations colliding, and it was a very good response. But the key matchups of this game here today for the Flyers, the last time the Flyers took on a team, it was a Battle of Pennsylvania back 2 weeks ago on that Saturday night against the Penguins. I do not know what happened in that game, going to admit. I think the one thing that I was really happy to see is that today, if they can, like, after that 2-week hiatus of that Four Nations face-off, like they're ready to get back on track and try to go on a little bit of a run here to try to get back into the postseason push here. Edmonton comes into this game today, like I said, coming off a very good game in the Four Nations face-off, and the guy that you got to keep a close eye on is the guy that got the game-winning goal up in Boston on Thursday night against Team USA, and that is Connor McDavid. And also keep a close eye on for Connor McDavid to also try to go back and forth, because he can really become a real good X factor in this game. So, like I said, keep a close eye on Connor McDavid. Keep a close eye on even more so with Leon Draisaitl, because I think Draisaitl is having himself a good year too. The Oilers are one team that are looking to try to go back to what they were back in that Stanley Cup contender year last year, after letting go of their head coach in the not in the regular season, but letting him go, and then basically going to the Stanley Cup final after like a kind of a swing that the coach they had before was like not going the way they expected them to go, but then they changed their coaches around, and then they went back to the Stanley Cup final. And but this is a different year, obviously. Obviously, I think they're still trying to feel the effects of how good they're supposed to be and how good they really are. But I think the one thing you got to keep a close eye on is that you got to keep a close eye on that 97 guy. It ain't Wayne Gretzky though, but he's pretty close to Wayne Gretzky. I mean, but they both have number 90 numbers. I mean, he's 97 and Gretzky was obviously 99. So keep a close eye on for Connor McDavid to try to be a little bit of a headache, or try to skate up ice and try to be more into the Flyer zone, because he knows how to keep things into, like, he's a really good goal. He's a really good player. And today actually too, Alex Ovechkin's back in action today, and he's still trying to chase Gretzky's record. So that's at 3:00 today on, I think it's ABC. I think it's the second game of the doubleheader of today's game. But like I said, but keep a close eye on here in South Philadelphia's sake for number 97 and Connor McDavid. All right, let's get into who's trending up and who's trending down on this night. For who's trending up, well, this could be a good thing for the Flyers to get back on track what Travis Konecny has in store. For me, obviously he did not play in that Four Nations Faceoff, so it's kind of concerning that he did not play in that game. But this will be a good time to get him back on track, and this will be also a good time to get back on track some other players that missed action due to not because of the hiatus of the Four Nations Faceoff, but also keep a close eye on for like other players that are coming back into the game today. For me, I would like to keep a close eye on to see what the Flyers have in store. It would be good to know Ruotsalainen's back in the lineup today, so it's good to know Rusto will be back today. Sam Ersson still being Sam Ersson, so I guess it'll be a good thing to see what he has in store for the upcoming games here today. And I guess the last thing I'll say about this too, for who's trending up, maybe get off on a high note today, get off to a positive note that they had the last couple games. Obviously, I mean, we all thought about what happened before that game against the Penguins. They were starting to struggle. Obviously, they didn't have a very good road trip in Colorado. They lost the game in Colorado, and I forget the other games that they took on against each other. It was good games, but they could have been a lot better. So for me, that's probably who's going to be trending down. Is that I don't want to say the words like a slow start, but maybe you try to avoid a slow start to probably, and also get off on a positive note than they did. I like on exactly 2 weeks ago when they took on the Penguins. And so that will be one thing for be trending up and trending down on this night. So for the injury report, like we always get ready for it in this game. So let's check out our injuries and scratches for this game here today. So basically the same as has the last couple weeks have occurred and the last couple months have concerned as well. The only scratch that is a scratch in this game today is Alexei Kolosov. So I'm guessing Kolosov is back with the Flyers, so he's going to be playing as a healthy scratch in this game. I guess he's the third goaltender behind Sam Ersson and Ivan Fedotov. Eric Johnson, that's the thing about it too. I remember like Eric Johnson was playing a little bit due to Rusto being injured. Excuse me, so he had saw some ice time along the way. But for me, Eric Johnson back as a healthy scratch. I would be sure that in the next couple of weeks or so, he might be looking for a trade partner to probably maybe like get traded, or maybe they're like looking to try to I guess they're trying to keep him around, but I wouldn't know. But the only guy that's still injured on the injury front for the Flyers in regards to Eric Johnson or, like I said, Alexei Kolosov, I can imagine Kolosov and Eric Johnson are just healthy scratches. And Nick Delorier, who hasn't played a lot this season, it looks to me he's, again, a healthy scratch. I don't want to say a healthy scratch, but he's probably still nursing that injury that he had early on in the season. So he's still going to miss some time, and he's going to especially miss this game today here against the Edmonton Oilers. All right, let's check out our starting goaltender matchup for this game here today for the guys in orange and black taking on Edmonton. In goal today for the Flyers, it will be Sam Ersson back in goal for the Flyers after a stellar performance that he had in the Four Nations for Sweden. He played very well in that Four Nations faceoff, and his record continues to be a real good factor, only giving up one goal in that time span. He is also 16-10-3 this season and has a goals against average of 2.81. And for the Edmonton Oilers, it will be Stuart Skinner, who's having himself a very good year as well. Similar record to, or similar goals against average record for, like Sam Ersson has for the Flyers, but he's also 20-12-4 this season and has a goals against average of 2.74. All right, let's get into our final predictions of this game, and I would promise you that this is the last thing I'll say about this too. So getting off on a positive note is very, very important to get back on track here today, especially what you're trying to do, especially after you came off that Four Nations face-off. So I would expect more of the same here today. So if you want to get off to a real good start, maybe start off a good positive note to try to score a couple goals to just make sure that they're back in the saddle and they're back home here today. Like I mentioned in my background, they're back at Wells Fargo Center today. And hopefully the Flyers will get off to a better positive note than they had the last couple games. And also what they played against the Penguins in 2024. This was the first time the Penguins took on the Flyers. I mean, for the first time in quite some time. So they had a positive to look at it. There was a positive to be. There was a positive out of it. Obviously, they won that game and they looked very well in that game against the Penguins as well. So hopefully that Four Nations face-off gave them a little bit of time off and try to recharge and regroup. And I expect more of the same here today, here in South Philadelphia. All right, that's going to wrap it up here for the Hockey Night on Board Flyers pregame show day edition, matinee edition. You can call it matinee edition if you know what I mean. But remember to stay tuned after the game for the Third Line John Flyers postgame show with Pat Bernard, who will get you covered right after the game goes final tonight. So that will be immediately, probably right after the Flyers game is over. So that will be close to 3:30, maybe 4 o'clock on our sister station, Stream Punk Entertainment. I will be back again on Tuesday. I'll be back on Tuesday as the Flyers take on the Penguins yet again, as they take on the Penguins for the third time this season in the Battle of Pennsylvania. And we will be back. I will be back again for the post-game show that night for the Third Line John Flyers post-game show where my buddy Joey Marks and myself will get you ready for the Flyers and the Pens that night here in South Philadelphia. That's going to wrap up here today for the Third Line. Oh, there we go. I know I was going to slip up on that one. For the Hockey Night on Board Flyers pregame show. And this has been James Scorza saying thanks for watching, and hopefully the Flyers get a good win. Enjoy the game, everybody, and we'll talk to you guys very, very soon. And until then, we will see you next time.